What's the metaphor? What's the lore? Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Volume 4 of Love, Death, and Robots. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into this. So last year I made a video reviewing the whole show of Love, Death, and Robots. This one right here. I highly recommend you go watch that if you have time or whatever. I was head over heels in love with the show. I'd never heard of it before. My boyfriend's best friend put me on. Shout out Ivan if you're watching this. Thank you so much. I have never seen an amalgamation of art come together like this, especially not in an anthology, you know, format. And so it was very interesting to me, and I went through all of my favorite episodes within each volume, and a little while ago Volume 4 dropped, so you can imagine my excitement from the get. Now I went into this new volume super excited, super supportive, super open-minded, and I came out the other end disappointed. Let me tell you why. It's just the simple fact that this volume was not as exciting or interesting as the other three. I don't know exactly what element was missing from Volume 4, but Volumes 1 through 3 had it, Volume 4 did not. And I saw a lot of discourse about this on the internet too. A lot of people were very harsh with their words. They were harsher than me, saying, you know, sharing their opinions about this volume of Love, Death, and Robots. And it took 3 years for this volume to come out, and this is what we got from it. Even though this volume wasn't as strong as the other three, I did have a few favorites, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did in my last video with Love, Death, and Robots, and go through my favorite episodes within the volume. So starting off at number 1, in no particular order, 400 Boys. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this. So if you don't know what Love, Death, and Robots is, it's a fully animated series, anthology series with different animation styles telling different stories. That's all it is, and it usually has something to do with love, death, or robots, or all of the above. So the 400 Boys is an episode about some kind of street gang in a post-apocalyptic world. I assume somewhere in the UK because everybody in this episode is British, and they are gearing up to battle this incredible evil they call the 400 Boys. They call them that because their first attack was on the 400th block in like the sector of where they're at, you know, different blocks, different gangs, so whatever, that type beat. And this is in the same animation style as Ice from Volume 2, and I loved Ice. And being that this is in the same animation style as Ice, I automatically assumed that they were in the same universe, not only because the animation style was the same, but these characters in this episode specifically, they seem to be mods because they have like some kind of telekinetic, you know, link with each other, and I'm like, okay, so you're not an organic human. Like, organic humans can't do that shit. So the main gang is wandering around the remains of the town trying to find survivors from the attack. Yeah, they're rallying the troops, they're picking up people who survived the attack, and they're about to gear up to go up against the 400 Boys. So it comes down to like the big battle, right? Everyone's ready to fight, ready to go to war. Whole time I'm thinking they're about to go up against another gang who's stronger than them, or like some aliens or whatever. Whole time they were planning to face off against gigantic mutant babies. I'm not playing, like the ops are gigantic mutant babies. Look at them, just stomping around, causing major mayhem. They're so all powerful and strong and, you know, big and scary that they took a bridge and threw it at the moon. Like, that was their last straw, apparently. Like, and I was so confused, yet intrigued, because what is this supposed to mean? You got all these people who are possibly genetically modified fighting gigantic mutant babies in the street. What's the metaphor? What's the lore? And then naturally, of course, after watching this episode, I went and did some research. So apparently the 400 boys, the gigantic babies, there's some variant of extraterrestrial who take the form of human babies. So technically I was right. And also doing a little bit more digging, I found out that this story was originated from a short story written back in the 80s. I went down a very deep Reddit rabbit hole, you know, trying to garner people's opinions about what they think it means. Some people were saying it was like, you know, corporations, you know, the rich versus the poor, and the revolution between the rich, you know, the poor eating the rich, you know, something like that. And then if someone else said something about, you know, a depiction of the older generation versus the newer generation, hence like the babies and stuff. I thought it was like a metaphor for like abortion or something. That was my initial thought, like, is this supposed to be a metaphor for abortion or something? Or like children in general? I don't know. I probably could build a thesis off of it, but that was just like my initial thought. I didn't put any thought into it. I was like, okay, is this what this is supposed to mean? Because Love, Death, and Robots usually has some kind of deep message within each episode, even the stupid, silly ones. But yeah, I don't know. But my favorite part in this episode is when Hilo delivers that kick-ass speech and the battle drums are in the back. And I was over here like, I was grooving. I said, oh. But yeah, this one was a good one. 400 Boys, that was a very interesting episode and story. I loved it. Moving on to number 2, how Zeke got religion. The first thing I noticed about this one was the art style. It was very nostalgic and gothic in a sense. Can't really put it into words, but that's what I felt upon first viewing. So basic breakdown, it's World War II. These soldiers are about to go on a mission to stop the ops from performing some kind of ritual or something. And then we have our main character, Zeke, who is a loud and proud atheist. And there's a preacher coming on the mission with them because he has the knowledge in the background on how to stop, you know, how to stop the ops or whatever. And then he has his buddy, Tap, who is also very religious. Zeke is the type of guy to where he's like, if I can't see it or touch it, I don't believe in it. It doesn't exist. So the mission is going as planned. They drop in, you know, they drop in what they drop in. It's World War II. And that all goes out the window. That all changes when a fallen angel rises, claws its way out from the crust of the earth and starts attacking the plane. They got there a smidgen too late because the ritual went through. It was approved, it did not decline, and one of the fallen started like coming back up from the depths of the hell and the earth and all that other shit, right? And so, yeah, this big end of days gargantuan fallen angel with the like a cherub face, it was very disturbing, starts attacking the plane and murking everybody in it. And it was a gore show. One thing that Love, Death, and Robots is not afraid of is the gore. I told you that last year when I reviewed the show. They don't care. And everybody on the plane is dead except for Zeke and Tap. Zeke defeats the fallen angel with a good old, the power of Christ compels you type battle, right? And after surviving that, he's like, maybe there is a God. Maybe there is a God looking out for me. Maybe I do believe. This one kind of took me aback because it gave me the opportunity to think. Now, I understand that religion can be a very touchy subject for some people because, you know, people have conflicting opinions and beliefs and stuff like that, and it can get very heated very quickly. But let me say this. This episode made me double down on why I'm so open and understanding to people's religions or belief systems that they carry. Because you don't know what they've seen. You don't know what they've witnessed. You don't know what they've been through. A single moment can either build the foundation for someone's faith or it can completely destroy it. And we see that with Zeke. I thought it was a beautiful story. Yeah, how Zeke got religion, love that one too. Go look at it. And finally, number 3, I know I don't have a lot of favorites from this one. Also because I think they went back to 9 episodes instead of their 18 that they were doing before. So there wasn't as many episodes for me to choose from. But yeah, last one, third one, Smart appliances, stupid owners. This one was just straight up stupid and goofy, and I was laughing the entire time. This episode is a compilation of confessionals from smart appliances. It's ranging from a thermostat, a toilet, to a toothbrush, to you know, an air purifier or something. They even bring in a Bluetooth in the shape of a, yeah, you know. And what was so funny is the way that each appliance was going off, straight up roasting their owner, talking about how nasty and dumb and ungrateful they are. It was just funny to see, you know, inanimate objects be sentient and have a conscience and, like, you know, speak their mind so freely. And my thought was, who was interviewing them? Who's recording them? Was a camera recording them? Like, no one behind the camera, just a camera itself? Because it's just like technology, basically. I'm very curious as to who they were talking to. Now, being that this is Love, Death, and Robots, I hate to be the one, but I'm gonna be the one. This show, once again, is trying to teach us a lesson, you know, give us a cautionary tale about how opinionated these smart appliances are about their stupid human owners and how they've had enough and how they're just so frustrated with them. This does not help the narrative that one day all of AI and robots are going to rise up and kill us. It just adds to it. But enough of my tinfoil hat ramblings, I'm done. But yeah, smart appliances, stupid owners was a very funny one. I like that one a lot. I have some honorable mentions that I want to talk about just briefly, because I like these two, but not as much as the three that I just highlighted. So we have an episode called For He Can Creep. It's set back in the day, like maybe 1800s, and there's this writer who is being tempted by the devil to write his work so he can take over the world, and then he has his pet cat who ultimately defeats the devil because he's like, sir. It was an interesting take on, you know, Satan or the devil, you know, coming to someone offering them something, because, you know, that's how the lore, I guess, works. You know, when it comes to depicting Satan and or the devil, he's always trying to make a deal with somebody. It also went into some very strange lore about the spirituality of cats, which I think cats are like very intelligent beings. Like, they're very different from dogs. I feel like cats are some form of extraterrestrials because they're too smart for their own good, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm just saying, this episode deals with a lot. It deals with, you know, the devil and temptation, and then also the spirituality of cats, which, okay. It was cute, and I really do love the art style for this one. It gives storybook. The art style was very interesting. I loved it. Have y'all seen the show Little Bear? It was very similar to this episode, and it was like reading something from Charles Dickens. Can't stop. So I was very confused throughout this entire episode when all it was an animated puppet concert of the Hot Chili Peppers. I was like, is there a point to this? And I'm not trying to be messy or be the one, but I think that's where all of the budget went for this volume. Spent it all on the Hot Chili Pepper. It was cool to see, like, you know, an animated concert with puppets. Sure. I mean, that's all it was. Like, there was no plot. It was just puppet versions of the band performing Can't Stop. That's it. But, you know, it was cool. It was cool. And then my last honorable mention is Close Encounters of the Many Kind. So do y'all remember when I was talking about Night of the Many Dead in my last video about this? This one wasn't as funny, but it was also kind of similar as well. You know, it had that same animation, robot chicken type, you know, stop motion claymation type bull, very far away, very wide shots, you know. It was dumb, it was ridiculous, it was kind of funny, but it wasn't as good as Night of the Many Dead, but it was still, you know, it was so-so. But yeah, volume 4 of Love, Death, and Robots, I feel that it could have been so much better, and I'm not the only one who feels this way. I will say this, if they come out with another volume, hopefully sometime soon, they better be using a back to basics formula, because we need that sense of excitement back. We need that. I don't know, I think the vibe of it just being obscure, at least I thought it was obscure, and indie, I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this because I didn't know about it until last year, but the fact that it is underrated and obscure, well, it's not that obscure because it won a Emmy, so I mean, but you know what I mean? It's that type of vibe. I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say. It's not going very well, but anyway, I hope they do go back to basics if they do come out with another volume. Hopefully the next one is better. But yeah, if I had to rate this volume, I would probably give it like, honestly, 4 out of 10. It was not that great. Like, majority of the episodes were not that interesting or that good, to be honest. I mean, yeah. They had a lot of cat and or pet related episodes in this volume too, which is not out of the norm, but it was more than usual for this show. Like in this volume specifically, which, okay. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate what we were given, even though it wasn't the best, because ultimately the show was created to showcase the work of very talented artists and share their passion and their work with the world, and I'm always going to be grateful for that aspect. But this season, it just did not do it for me. I don't know about y'all, maybe it did it for you, but it didn't do it for me. And then also, I didn't talk about all episodes because what was I going to say, that the rest of them sucked and just repeat myself over and over again? So I just focused on the ones that I really did enjoy. But yeah, that was my review on Love, Death, and Robots Volume 4. So that concludes our video for today. If you made it to the end of this video, comment an alien emoji, please. And subscribe if you want to. I'll see y'all on the next go around. Okay, bye.